Welcome to the Core Worlds basic tutorial. This tutorial is meant to familiarize you with concepts in Core Worlds if you've never played Core Worlds before. We will not be covering multiplayer rules. After this, you should be prepared to understand the main SoloPlay tutorial, link in the description below, even if you've never played Core Worlds before. Let's begin. In Core Worlds, you play as one of several factions struggling to become a galactic empire by eventually conquering the Core Worlds, planets with powerful military and lots of victory points. You will gradually build up your deck with more and more powerful cards as the game progresses. Score the most victory points and you win the game. In the base game, there are 5 factions to choose from. All have different heroes, but that's the only difference in the basic decks. You'll soon change that, however. The deck of cards that we will be drafting from is broken up into 5 sectors. Each sector has 2 rounds in it, all the way from 1 round to 10 rounds. Each sector tells us how many cards we draw and how many actions we have. In the last sector, this rectangle tells us to shuffle our discard pile into our draw deck so that we have a chance of drawing powerful cards that we've drafted in the 4th sector. As we progress through the sectors, cards become more and more powerful until we reach the 5th sector, or the sector with the core worlds in them. There are 3 different types of cards. There are unit cards, there are tactics cards, and there are world cards. There are worlds other than the core worlds that come up in sectors 1 through 5. Now, every card tells you how many victory points it's worth in the red circle. A plus sign means that these are conditional victory points. You get 6 plus, for instance, in the case of Anu, 6 plus 1 empire point for each star cruiser and capital ship in your empire. Cards also show which sector they belong to, all the way from 0 to 5. You'll recall that the first sector was Sector 1. I'll discuss Sector 0 cards, which are special. For now, let's cover the different types of cards. Worlds provide you with energy. The energy that a world produces is located in the top right corner of the card in the yellow circle. Energy is the currency of core worlds. You use energy to draft cards, to deploy cards, to play cards, and sometimes to pay for certain special actions on cards. Worlds sometimes have special powers. Worlds also tell you how to conquer them. In this case, for the world of Eden, you need 5 fleet strength and 3 ground strength in order to conquer this world and successfully invade it. So here's an example of an invading force. You can see we have 5 fleet strength and 4 ground strength. That equals or exceeds the fleet strength and ground strength of the world, so we've successfully invaded this world. Once you invade a world, you must discard the cards involved in the invasion. Saving 1, you can save 1 optionally to garrison it on the planet. This thins out your deck. Once you've conquered the planet, you can place it into your tableau. Unit cards represent units in your army. They provide you with fleet strength and ground strength to conquer or invade worlds. The cost of drafting a unit from the board is located in its bar in this little yellow number. In this case, it would cost 1 to draft the Seker Star Cruiser. The amount, on the other hand, that it costs to deploy the card from your hand is, in this case, in the upper right corner in the larger yellow circle. In this case, it would cost 3 to play the sector from your hand into your tableau. When you draft a unit card, it goes to your discard pile, like in many deck building games. When you run out of cards in your draw deck, you shuffle your discard pile into the new draw deck. Tactics cards are likewise drafted from the board using the draft cost in the small yellow circle. Like unit cards, when you draft them, they go to your discard pile. The amount of energy it costs to play a tactics card is up in the upper right corner of the card in the large yellow circle. When you play a tactics card, you play it to your discard pile and execute the special action in its box. Sector 5, the Core World sector, also adds a special card type, the Prestige card. Like tactics cards and units cards, the draft cost of the Prestige card, it's in its bar in the little yellow circle. In this case, it would cost 7 to draft the Mining Coalition. However, when you draft the Prestige card, you draft it and place it into your tableau, not into your discard pile. This is your entire empire. Your empire consists of cards in your tableau, also known as the war zone, cards in your deck, and cards in your discard pile. Some cards will make reference to your war zone. That's only these cards that are out in play. They can include worlds, units, and prestige cards. Using the player board, we track the number of actions that we have and that we take, and we track the amount of energy that we gain and spend. Each round, there will be an energy phase. You count up the energy provided by your worlds. In this case, that's 4 energy. You can play any energy surge cards from your hand to provide you with more energy. And you can discard 2 cards from your hand once to create 1 energy. As you spend energy, track it on your board. As you spend action points, also track it on your board. When you have reached the point where you don't want to do anything else or you can't do anything else, set your energy and actions to 0. Energy does not carry between rounds. Sometimes cards on the board available for invading or drafting end up with square energy tokens on them. These energy tokens provide you with 1 energy if you draft or invade the card. Let's now discuss the Sector 0 deck. Sector 0 is a special drafting deck. At the beginning of the game, before we start going through any of the sectors, we shuffle up the Sector 0 deck, we draw cards from it, and we draft what we want from it, and we replace cards in our faction deck with the cards we've drafted from Sector 0. It's a way of livening up your faction deck. Hopefully this video has successfully introduced you to the basic concepts of Core Worlds. The rest of the SoloPlay rules will be explained in the separate SoloPlay tutorial, link in the description below.